What is up, guys? Back on the Skinny Gas channel, in case you didn't notice, and the reason for that is essentially because Paddy and I have both decided to go our own way. I'm only joking. To put out content on our separate YouTube channel. So if you haven't followed Paddy, go and follow Paddy Farrell on YouTube as well, because we're both from Triage and we're going to be putting out our own individual content along with the Triage content that you see across our other social media. So we don't do that much Triage YouTube. We had done a little bit, but it was sort of inconsistent, and for that reason we decided to commit to our own channels, because I think it makes it a little bit easier as opposed to like blurring the lines between what is personal and what is business and that sort of stuff. But anyway, that's not important. What you'll notice if you are a longer time subscriber is that I have pretty much wiped the channel clean, so I just deleted most of my old videos, and the reason for that is because I want there to just be some consistency in the types of videos I put out and a common theme, and there never really was that before. So that's pretty much it. So I'd like to sort of have that blank slate from which we can build over time, as opposed to you watching this video having maybe come across me on Instagram or Triage and then watching all my videos from 3 or 4 years ago and me being like, oh man, I don't know if I'd recommend that you watch what I was saying 3 or 4 years ago. I'm sure there was nothing ridiculous, but I mean, obviously I've grown up. The values that I have now, the beliefs that I have now, probably a lot different, and the fact that we're trying to push, you know, the fact that both Paddy and I work with Triage now, and that's our business. I'd like it to be clear that that is the case, as opposed to you going and watching one of my old videos and being like, oh, he does Skinny Gas online coaching, maybe I should sign up for that. Or he works as a personal trainer in this place, I'm gonna ask him about that. I think it just makes for confusion, to be honest. However, I did touch on one thing there when I said that I probably had, you know, different beliefs and values and stuff in the past. And I think what would be a good video, you may or may not agree, would be if I sat down and discussed some of the things I've changed my mind on over the years, and even recently, you know, because I think it's really cool to see someone who has changed their beliefs over time actively addressing the times at which they were wrong, because that helps, one, younger professionals. I am young, but you know, younger in terms of just getting into fitness maybe. It helps you to recognize that it's okay to be wrong and to be uncertain about things, and it's also going to help you to maybe identify some of the things that I felt I was wrong about, and then help you to update those beliefs. So yeah, that's the crack. And for the purpose of today, what I would like to do is discuss the topic of entry-level exercise as a habit, okay? And this will have broader implications for habit development in general, but the person that I'm speaking to while making this video is essentially those of you who would like to be doing a little bit more exercise, okay? So you've heard of the benefits of exercise, but you're not quite sure how exactly you can begin to put it into practice, because, you know, oh, I just spilled my coffee, I'm some idiot. Because, you know, when you watch people on YouTube, maybe you follow me on Instagram, or you follow other people on Instagram, you know, the people that really kind of embody fitness as a lifestyle. I wouldn't say I do that all the time, but anyway, you can kind of be like, oh God, you know, I can't change my life in favor of training 6 days a week. I couldn't do that. Well, at least not properly. Like, you don't feel that you could embody that. You don't feel like that is something that you could adopt into your lifestyle currently, and that's fine, you know. But what you have to recognize is that exercise is going to improve your life, full stop, beyond your health. It's beyond the body composition, it's beyond muscle strength, it's beyond just aerobic adaptations, it's beyond all that stuff. It's not just about the exercise physiology side of things that you hear people talk about. It's also about the fact that it can help you to have more energy in your day-to-day life that you can then, you know, dedicate towards the things that are actually meaningful for you. Like, that's the way in which I like to frame exercise for people, is that, you know, if you have more energy throughout your day, you can then dedicate that energy to the things that are really important. So if it's the case that you get really fatigued when you're in college all day, we know that exercise can potentially reduce those feelings of fatigue, and that is then going to improve your life beyond just the exercise component. And there's also, also the fact that, you have better cognitive function when you exercise. So, you can have better memory, retention, and things like that. So if you're not exercising regularly, then you're not getting the most out of your mind. There are different things that are released when we exercise that, contribute to better brain health in the long term, to you being able to develop better skills and to learn things. So, these are all factors that need to be taken into consideration, and it's also related to other health related behaviors. And also, so exercise can help to regulate your appetite. Exercise can help to sleep better. Exercise can help with managing stress. So all this sort of stuff that is really important to everyone, not just exercisers. So when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to you as someone that is not within the fitness industry, that is not the exercise person among their group. I'm speaking to you as the college student, the person that's working, whoever you may be, the person that has something in their life that they actually care about, that they want to do better, but they can't currently because they're not exercising. Okay, so it needs to be in your life. And even from a general psychological perspective, having the discipline to be able to go and exercise, that's a component of it. And having that ability to push through things when they get uncomfortable, that's another component of it. So there are psychological benefits that come as a result of just doing the act of exercise and having to push through it, that are also important. So where we're going with this is starting really, really small. So for example, one of the habits that I've been putting in place lately is to get up every morning at 4:30, and what I do is I go for a run. But I'm not going for a 10, 12, 15, 20k run. And this is where people go wrong, okay? What people try and do is they try and say, all right, I'm gonna do a workout every morning. And that workout has to look like something you find in a magazine or something you find on Instagram. So if every time you try and make exercise a regular habit, what you do is you try and put together these 1 to 2 hour workouts that are really complicated and difficult, you're going about it the wrong way. That might be appropriate and it works for a portion of people, but it doesn't work for a lot of people. So where I would start is literally with 5 to 10 minutes of exercise. Boom, that's it, okay? Because everyone can do that much. There's no way that you watching this cannot do 5 to 10 minutes of exercise per day. And it doesn't have to be something that is difficult. So for example, if you get up in the morning and you go for a shower, instead of going straight into the shower, instead of having your phone in your room and going on Instagram in the morning, what you do is you get up, you put on your running shoes, and you go out for a run for literally just around the block, 5 to 10 minutes, you come back, you shower, boom. Once you can do that for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, what you'll find is that it just becomes natural. Your first instinct when you get up in the morning is to grab those running shoes and run out the door. So you do it before you even think. You're not making it something that you are preparing for. That's a big psychological battle, okay? You want to remove the battle side of things, okay? You can do that over time. When you start to really love exercise and you have specific goals and you're going to enjoy the workout, then that's when you can start kind of battling the days when you don't feel like going because you're like, oh, I got a fucking goal, man. But for now, you're not that person. You don't have that goal. You're just trying to add something into your life that's going to make it better, okay? And this is the key to all habits. When you're developing habits, you want them to be things that are actually going to improve your life, and you want to try and acknowledge how they improve your life. Okay, so for example, for me, getting up early is a habit that improves my life because I've spent periods of time, particularly in the last year, not getting up quite as early as I would like. Okay, so and I thought that things were going fine for a while. I thought because it did suit my schedule based on placement and stuff like that. But what I noticed over time, particularly recently, I was kind of thinking, you know what? My life is probably measurably worse as a result of not getting up early. And the reason for that was that I found myself just not getting quite as much done. A lot of tasks being left over, missing out on reading here and there. And that stuff is all important to me for my goals in improving my life. So what I look at then is that habit. And once you put it into place, I'm asking myself, is this making my life better? And once you notice that it's making your life better, then there's that positive feedback loop that reinforces you wanting to keep that going. And because you've made it habitual, it's something that just happens. So it just happens and you have a reason for it to keep happening because you recognize that it makes your life better. And that's the exact same thing with exercise, okay? So it's not about motivation. It's not about motivating yourself to do 1 to 2 hours of exercise. It's about getting up in the morning or whenever is the best time for you to do it and making it as easy as possible, okay? So James Clear, who's pretty much an expert on habits, one of the things he talks about is just trying to get through the initial barrier, okay? So the first 2 minutes even, all right? So don't even worry about the exercise itself. Worry about getting out of the bed, putting on your shoes, and walking out the door. If you can do that much, it's almost guaranteed that you are going to do the run for 5 to 10 minutes, okay? So just focus on breaking that barrier. That's it. If you can get out and you do your 5 to 10 minutes, boom, great. But if you only do 2 minutes, fine. You still broke down the biggest barrier that was stopping you from doing that, okay? So the biggest barrier to a 10-minute run is not doing the last 2 minutes. The biggest barrier to a 10-minute run is walking out the door and getting going. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. So if you're someone that's not exercising currently, this is where we're going with it. You're going to start by finding 5 to 10 minutes in your day that you can block off every day. Every day. All right, it's going to make your life better. So for example, it might be after work. All right, so what some people will do after work is they'll drive home, and when they get home, they sit on the couch and they scroll through their phone for a while, all right? Instead, what you do is you keep your gym gear in the car, okay? So you always keep a pair of shorts and a pair of shoes in the car. And what you do is when you drive home, maybe there's a park halfway. So ideally, you want it to be on your normal route. So if it's on your normal route between your workplace and your home, then you just stop there on the way, you run for 5 to 10 minutes and boom, that's it. You know, an even easier one, if you live close to your workplace or close to your college, is to run to work or college. Maybe there's a shower there, maybe there's not, maybe you're okay with being smelly, whatever it is. You know, I don't care how you put this into practice, I just want you to put it into practice. And once you've done that for a few weeks, 5 to 10 minutes, then you'll be like, you know what, this is actually fine, I'm actually getting better at this isn't a big problem anymore. And then what you can do is 15 minutes. Or you can consider, you know what, there's that exercise class, I could almost go to that once a week, and then you start creeping that in. Or you say to yourself, you know what, I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of weight training, but I wouldn't like to go into one of those gym environments yet. So what you do is you buy yourself a little kettlebell, and you say, all right, what exercises can I do with this? You start doing a couple of squats with a kettlebell, you start doing a couple of kettlebell swings, you start doing some overhead presses, and it's like, is that the perfect workout? Maybe not. For who? It's better than nothing. Sure is. And that's what you're rolling with. Okay, so that's our discussion for today. I'm going to try and make these every couple of days because I feel they're very simple to put together and they're helpful for people. What I would like is for you to ask questions as well. So obviously this was a very simple entry-level discussion of exercise for the purpose of those people that I want to reach out to that are maybe not making it part of their routine already. But obviously we can still answer high-level exercise questions, you know, programming questions, all that sort of stuff. Injury questions, because it's obviously I don't want a YouTube channel that's just dedicated to people who are trying to start exercising. I want to serve the exercisers, the people that are training, the people with goals, etc., because obviously that is part of our coaching service. So yeah, that's the crack for today. I hope that video helped some of you, and if it didn't, and if you're like, well, I'm already exercising, it's no big deal, still take the message away. So the general theme is the development of habits is not about trying to break down the biggest challenges you possibly can. It's not about trying to take on those challenges. It's about starting small and seeing how you can build that up over time. Okay, so it's like the principle of progressive overload that we apply in exercise training and resistance training. You're applying that to your habits and to your life. So you're saying to yourself, all right, I'm actually really bad at blocking off time to read. But the problem is, what people try and do is they try and read for an hour. They do all this highlighting and they're making notes. It's like, all right, could you read five pages a day? Not even 10, 5 pages a day. How long does that take you? I don't know, like fucking 10, 15, 20 minutes. Depends on the book, obviously. But if that's all it takes you, can you block off that period of time every day? Could you read 1 page? Could you read 2 pages? Start with the smallest unit that you possibly can and see if you can do that consistently. Because if you haven't yet owned 10 minutes of reading per day, then why would you be trying to read for half an hour? It doesn't make sense. And I say this sort of like, almost like, are you fucking stupid? Because I am that person. I am the person that tries to do everything 100% straight away. and that just gets me nowhere, you know, because I used to have periods before where I would sit down and I'd try and read, you know, 10 PubMed papers a day, every day. And anyone that reads research papers knows that, you know, you need to block off a couple of hours for that. And that used to be my goal. It was like 10 papers. But then what I would do is I would like read 10 papers one day and then not read anything for the next 2 days because I was too busy or whatever. And it's like, it's actually much more effective to just do a little bit of reading every day. So there's very rarely a day that goes past now where I don't read maybe 1 to 3 research papers. Maybe I'll just skim some, but that's essentially the way in which you build a habit. So you make that habit something small, and you can make it bigger once you've owned it. But if you haven't owned it, then don't bother making a bigger habit. Okay. So that's this discussion. I don't want to make these videos any longer than 15 minutes. It's already longer than 15 minutes because it was a boring discussion, and that's the crack. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have questions, drop them below. And I'm not sure if I should end these videos saying be happy or it's too easy. I think it's too easy is better. Because while I used to say be happy, and while that's kind of tattooed on myself, I think too easy is a better, more applicable message for people to put into practice. While I still stand by be happy, I don't think that most people get that or put it into practice. Like for me, the whole be happy message is about gratitude. It's about, you know, being grateful for the fact that I've so many opportunities, and we all have so many opportunities versus some people in this world. I guess it is a good message, yeah. So be happy, and remember, it's too easy.